Anti-black racism is real. Unconscious bias is real. And systemic discrimination is real, and they happen here in Canada.
The Prime Minister affirming that police violence against black people is not an exclusively American problem. The leaders of all the major federal political parties making the same remarks in the wake of protests condemning the deaths of George Floyd in America and Regis Korchinski-Paquet in Toronto.
No one should ever feel unsafe around police officers who must uphold the law for all, or feel unsafe because of the color of their skin.
While we look to the States, this is not just an American issue. Here in Canada, we face anti-black racism as well. Black people have died at the hands of police.
The deaths of Floyd and Korchinski-Paquet sparked a wave of protests from Vancouver to Halifax, demanding a change in the way police interact with black Canadians and other Canadians of color. Korchinski-Paquet died during a mental health check carried out by Toronto police, and protesters say it's time Canadians took a closer look at what police are doing in their name.
So you always hear the rhetoric of, oh, we're not as bad as, oh, this is not as bad as, for example, the United States or various other countries, including South Africa, where I originate. But it still is particularly bad. It manifests in some similar ways. And some of the violence is also covert, which enables Canada to say, we're not as bad.
Racism against black Canadians has taken many forms, including the disproportionate use of carding. Black people are also overrepresented in Canada's prisons, making up just 3% of the population, but 8.6% of prison populations. And black Canadians living with mental illness, like Korchinski-Paquet, DeAndre Campbell, Nicholas Gibbs, and Andrew Loku, have all died during mental health checks carried out by Canadian police.
Mental health has now increasingly been relegated to the domain of policing, especially policing of Black people who go through mental health crises. And so we see what should be a public health response turn into a militarized, inappropriate, and in some instances, violent response.
During the pandemic, there's also been calls for Canada to properly collect data about the race of people contracting and dying of COVID-19. Public health experts already know that black and minority communities often suffer worse health outcomes disproportionate to the general population. But when asked about race-based COVID data, Trudeau couldn't say when that data might be available. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.